Today we're on my private range and we have some targets to test. Now these are prototype centerfire targets from ARRAKIS targets. One of my clients was working for them, and yeah, when he came down for the hunt from Brizzy, he brought some of these targets with him for me to test out. Now they do already have a website, so I'll leave a link in the description to the website. Currently, as I'm doing the video, they only have rimfire targets, but they are working on these prototype centerfire targets, and I'll show you something else that's pretty cool that they're working on in a minute. But yeah, so by the time I release this video, you should be able to go over to the website and purchase the centerfire targets as well. But today we're just going to smack some steel. I've got 308, 3006 and a 300 Win Mag, so we're going to really give these a good test out on impacts. I've also got some outer edge monolithic projectiles, so you know, pretty hardcore projectile. Let's see how these targets hold up to that sort of punishment, and then yeah, we'll just have a bit of fun banging some steel today. We'll do a little bit offhand, bit of field practice sort of style shooting to start with, and then I might ring it out a little bit further and go 300, 400, maybe 500 yards today. It's a nice overcast day with a light breeze, so we should be able to get on target pretty easy. So today I've got a 4-inch, 12-inch and a 10-inch, and right beside me here, just out of view, I've got something pretty special, so I'll show you that now. Rightio, I've got the Swaro hat on today to match the targets, but one of the things that ARRAKIS is working on is some life-size animal targets. Now I've got a prototype here and it's pretty cool, but just remember it's a prototype. So we are, and I had a little bit to do with this, and he's a bit hard to get in. There he is. But I'll just give you an idea of how big he is. Now, I've already talked to Simon at ARRAKIS Targets, and I've told him, look, we're a bit too big. Let's reduce this by about 15%. So, more than likely, if you buy a Samba target, it's not going to be this big. This is more like an elk. But just check this out. It's got a nice big vital zone there on a swing. So, and then what we've got here is, if you can see that line, this is all the steel that can handle a solid hit and shouldn't be an impact to the metal at all. But the legs, the bum and the neck and head and the antlers, they're all aluminium just to reduce weight, because this thing is a monster. It's on a big skid so you can tow it along. It's got little anchor points down here. Yeah, so you can move it around. And I did assemble it on my own. It was a bit of a mission, but I did get it done. But yeah, there's old Sambo. Let's call him Sambo, eh? My paint job, don't mind it. But yeah, anyway, so there's something a little bit different. Now I think they're going to have like some rabbits, foxes, pigs, goats, small deer, that sort of thing available. So go over the website and yeah, by the time I release this video, they should have that all up and available for purchase. But today, this is going to be pretty cool to have a shot at, and then yeah, we'll ring out some steel on the standard swing targets. Now give you a better look at the arrangement. So steel picket, just standard, and then you've got these hanger plates. Now you can just pull them off and put them on. So if you've got different size ones or you want to transport them, it's easy to do. And then you've just got a little bolt through here that stops that sliding down, so you can just slip that off the top. And then you got the single hanger, which is basically the same but just a smaller setup. Sort of angle that one in on a bit of an angle just to give a bit of swing space. I did the same thing here with this one, but it's probably not necessary because they're offset. But so as you can see with these swinging style targets here, they're quite maneuverable. And like with the simple steel picket setup, you could basically just buy, say, the 12-inch gong if you wanted to, or 10-inch, whichever size you wanted, and just have one steel picket at different distances, and then you can just move that target to increase your range or change the range that you want to shoot at. You don't have to have a dozen different targets set from whatever distance to wherever. You could just literally have the steel pickets in the spots where you want the ranges to be, and you just move the targets as you go. They're quite simple, very quick to do, and yeah, so that's a pretty cool feature of these targets. But anyway, I'm sure everyone's dying to see them get smacked, so let's go back and do that right now. Alright, earlier I said I had the 308, 30-06 and the 300 Win Mag. Well, I must have changed my mind somewhere along the lines, and I thought, nah, let's bring the 270 out, considering it's the 100-year anniversary of the 270. And, you know, I did buy this very special rifle a few months ago. So here is my Winchester Model 70 Jack O'Connor Tribute in 270 Winchester. And I thought, why not ring some steel with this? So I've got some hand-loaded 140 SSTs here. It's going to go freestanding at 100 yards, and we'll see how this all turns out. Righto, 100 yards, see how we go. A little bit of a test of me as well as the target. Oh, it wasn't a very good hit. Woo! Oh, it's a nice rifle. Tell you what, if you're a bit of a gunman like me and you haven't got a Winchester Model 70 in your cupboard, you really are missing out. Have a look at this thing. Got all the engravings. Jack O'Connor. Righto, so not my best effort marksmanship wise, but we did get 3 hits at 100 yards off the shoulder. Now, nothing but the paint gone. So 140 grainer at about 2900, 2950 out of this 270 has not made a dent at 100 yards. So I'm pretty impressed with that. So what we'll do, we'll ramp it up to the 30-06 with some monolithic projectiles from Outer Edge, the 150 grain hollow point. So let's see how the target handles monolithic at 100 yards. Rightio, 150 grain Outer Edge out of the 30-06. Now they're not sighted in at the moment in this rifle, but we'll make it work. Sounded pretty solid hits. There's that group with the 30-06, so a bit more centered. Got my eye in now. And, even with monolithic at 100 yards, now that 150 grainer must be in the 29 to 3000 feet a second bracket. Nothing but the paint missing. So the steel they're using is pretty good, I reckon. Now, I'm sure on the website it'll have what steel they are using, but it really doesn't matter. I'm just showing you what it's capable of right here. So let's step it up, 300 Win Mag with a 160 grain ball bearing tip from Outer Edge. Now, that thing is zinging along at like way over 3000 feet a second. So let's give it a crack. Another Model 70, but this one's a custom jobby. Trentec Engineering in Queensland put this one together for me. Madco barrel, Macmillan stock, Timney trigger, 300 Win Mag. Love this rifle. Righto. Let's see if the ARRAKIS targets can handle some big girl power. Oh yeah, those first two were right in the centre. Righto, let's go and have a look. That was my last shot. I know I was coming up from the bottom. Bit of a shooting technique I use when I'm doing offhand shooting is coming into the target and start squeezing at the bottom. I know I felt like I'd pulled that one off a little too soon, but here's those other two. Now, that rifle has custom length of pull for me. I had this rifle made for me, and I tell you what, it makes a huge difference when you are shooting offhand. And there's the first two. Now there is just the tiniest little bit of an impression. Now what Simon at ARRAKIS Targets told me is impact velocities around about 3,000 feet a second start to affect the steel, but this rifle would be impacting at 3,000 feet a second at 100 yards with those 160s, and it's a monolithic, so you're not going to get any harder projectile than that. So, well, maybe a full metal jacket, but even a full metal jacket I don't think is harder than a monolithic. Super impressive. That's not going to wear your target out anytime soon. You're going to be able to put thousands of rounds down on these bits of steel, and they're just going to need a new paint job. So anyway, that's 100 yards. Realistically, shooting at your steel targets closer than that, it's probably not a thing that most people are going to do, to be honest. Maybe, with a 22 and whatnot, but you've got 22 targets available at the website. Not that you can't shoot these with a 22, but these are made for centerfire to flatten those projectiles off and make them completely safe after it hits the target. But anyway, it's always fun to hear the ding. So let's go back a little bit and ring the steel at a bit of distance. Oh, we better shoot old Sambo. Let's shoot Sambo first, eh? Let's give Sambo a touch up. Righto, let's do that. Righto, I'm at 200 yards because old Sambo's probably the size of an elk. I thought I might make a little bit more of a challenge, so we're still going to go like a field position. So I'm going to do a seated position, and we'll see what happens to him. Well, I'm going to say old Sambo's a very dead deer. Let's go and have a look at the target and see how Sambo held up to a 160 ball bearing tip from outer edge from a 300 Win Mag at 200 yards. I'm extremely happy with my marksmanship at this distance. Those outer edge projectiles definitely just leave the tiniest little bit of a ding. Right, now I know this is an oversized Sambo, call it an elk, but those two impacts are dead deer every day. So I'm super happy with that. Anyway, that was a bit of fun. Hopefully it was fun to watch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back just a little bit further. We'll go back to 300 yards because I just love that hang time before you get that ding back from the metal. And yeah, we might give the 10-inch target a bit of a razz up at 300 yards, eh? Righto, so I've moved out to 300 yards. I've got the 270 with me. Now, this is not a dial-up scope, and it is sighted in for 200 yard zero. So I think I've got about a 6-inch drop at 300 yards. I'm going to shoot in another field position. So I've got a tripod here set up, and I've got my shooting bag from Alpine Accuracy. This is going to be as much of a test as my marksmanship as it is going to be hitting the target. But you know, let's give it a crack. Righto, Sambo. Oh, wounded him. That first shot was terrible on Sambo. Absolutely terrible. So, 270 Winchester. Field position, like a realistic one, using the tripod as a rest and my rear bag. So in the seated position, 300 yards. 1, 2, 3. That is a 10-inch target. I was aiming top of plate to drop it in. So the ballistic app that I had said about 6 inches of drop. So, you know, yeah, very, very close to 6 inches of drop. So I'm pretty confident that any deer under 300 yards is going to die with that 270 when it's aimed at it. Now, the interesting thing is when I looked at Sambo when I drove up is I must have been looking at a bolt when I thought I shot him in the leg. But I saw this shiny bolt because it's one of the only bolts that I haven't actually painted somehow. And I thought that's where I'd hit. But no, I had 2 hits in the centre. Now, that's where doubt can creep in, isn't it? Because I felt a little bit like I was shooting a little bit low on the first shot. And when it went there, I went, "Ah, you bloody idiot." But as it turns out, they were both kill shots, 300 yards. They're only about 4 inches apart. Obviously dead center in the kill zone that we've got marked out here. And from a field position, I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, old Sambo really took the punishment there. Now, I will say that those monolithic do make just the tiniest little crater on the steel, but the SST, so anything like a cup and core, or I reckon even a bonded core, is just going to take the paint off, and that's all. So unless you're going to really smack hard into your targets with monolithics, they're going to last a lifetime. And even with a monolithic, you know, I reckon it's going to take thousands upon thousands of rounds to wear out that kill zone target. Now, that on these life-size targets, they will have the same material all the way around, basically where you would miss. Now, these legs are aluminium, so if you shot really low, it's just going to blow a hole clean through that. But yeah, anyway, I reckon that's mint. So old Sambo, 4 for 4, he's dead. And yeah, anyway, I'm going to drag him out so I can shoot him at 500, because that'd be fun, wouldn't it? Be fun for me. Just got Sambo on the move. Just towing him along with the ute. Righto, we'll get him out to 500, will we? Probably need a driver. Righto, let's get him there. Just had an idea for a running target. Probably not. You want to trust who's shooting it? Right, I'm just going to show you how you can just pull these targets apart so you can move them. Simple as that. Onto your next steel picket, or you can pull the picket out and take it with you. All it's got is a little bolt here that stops it from falling down, and you can adjust the height of that obviously with the different holes in there. Same with the single hanger. Just got 2 bolts on this one, wing nuts. Just go to your next steel picket and bolt it on. Simple as that. Righto, I've just quickly moved the targets. Very simple process. Yeah, just have another steel picket, dong it in, put the bolt in and slide it on and hook your targets on, ready to go. So I've got the 12 and the 4-inch gongs set up here. We've got Sambo set up. Go out to 500 and see if we can give ourselves a bit of a challenge on the 4-inch. And we'll give Sambo a bit of a tune up at 500. 494 yards. And we've got the targets all set up. That deer looks awesome down there. It's bloody unreal. I've got to come up 8 MLA on the 3006. Let's have a go. Righto, there you go. Now I have got a little bit of heat wave, and so I reckon it is shooting a little bit higher. But righto, Sambo, your turn. Righto, Sambo's dead. That was a little bit too easy, wasn't it? Righto, I'm going to get my other rifle that's super accurate. We'll have a go at that 4-inch gong at 500. Righto, so I've got my 6.5 Creedmoor here. It is usually extremely accurate. It's in a Tikka CTR. It's got a T2 muzzle brake on it, and it's shooting 140 grain hybrid target burgers. So I've just dialed it up because it's not actually sighted in with this ammo. So I've worked out the dope. I've got it on the 12-inch gong at 494. Let's go for the 4-inch. Now we basically don't have any wind, so we're just going to be aiming center target and we'll see how we go. Whoa, I just missed. I reckon I went just off this plate to the right. Oh. Not as easy as you think, is it? Can't get it. Righto, on the 12. That went left. Let's try right edge of plate. It's not that easy to hit 4-inch, is it? Righto, because I was so hopeless at the 4-inch gong, which I was actually quietly confident. Let's put 5 as a group on the 12. Probably needed a 6-inch target. I was all around that target, just couldn't get it on it. Alright, you can already see the hits that are on there. There's 3 hits on there. I'm going to aim centre target. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of heat wave off the muzzle brake at the moment. And that's a pretty handy group, if I do say so myself. It's probably around that 6-inch bracket. So if I had a 6-inch target, I reckon I would have been hitting it pretty good. Now it was slightly to the left, even though the wind up here is slightly to the right. But anyway, that was a bit of fun. I hope you've enjoyed the shooting like I have. And I don't know which one of these 3 is the 30-06 at 500 yards, but it's one of them. So once again, old Sambo's dead. But yeah, good shooting on my behalf today. I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, the target, Mickey Mouse, great fun to shoot. Awesome to give you that practice of aiming at something that, you know, like you can sort of make out this kill zone as a target, but you've got everything to help you align your reticle with, you know, the way the position of the front legs and the neck and the back line is. Like, it's just great to give you that practice on an actual silhouette of what you're going to be hunting. So I think it's just great practice. Everyone should have one. Now let's go over here to these targets. Now the 4-inch survived. I put bullets all the way around it, but just couldn't get on target. And on the 12-inch here, there was 3 hits on this already, and then I've just put 5 rounds from the 6.5 Creedmoor on it, and I'm pretty confident. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I reckon it's there. It's probably about 3.5-inch group, maybe 4-inch at the biggest. No, I reckon it's under 4-inch. So shooting well under MOA, and I was aiming there. So I must have just been sliding off the side on that 4-inch. But anyway, it was a good, I should have used the reticle from here to hold off on the 4-inch, and I probably would have hit it, but I felt like I've annoyed the neighbours enough this morning to probably just give it a rest. But anyway, another day I'll smack the 4-inch for you, but you can sort of tell that the targets are going to hold up to a lot of shooting. You're going to get your money's worth out of these things. You're basically just going to need to repaint them every time you go out for a shot so you can see where your impacts are. But anyway, we'll do a wrap up in the shed, and yeah, I'll see you back there. Right, I can't let that 4-inch gong beat me. I'm set up here with a 270 at 200 yards. We're going to smack it from here. This rifle's shooting MOA, so I should be able to get a hit on a 4-inch target at 200 yards, shooting prone. Let's go. Woo! Center hit. There you go, guys. Righto, so there it is. Let's wrap that up now. Back to the shed. I just couldn't let it beat me. The old 270 did the job. Pretty much a center hit at 200 yards. Shooting off my ASIAC. Which tripod's that? That's the Ridgeline, I think, that one. Yeah, Ridgeline. And as you'll see, I've got the front country and the back country filming. So, big shout out to ASIAC tripods. They're getting the job done with filming all this content. I'll give you a quick look at the construction of Sambo, because it's pretty cool. So he's got bolt-on antlers, he's got a bolt-on head. The bolts for the basically it work out to be his eyes and his nose. If you look at the front, anyway. So, and then he's got, you know, big gussets there to hold him up nice and straight. He's got that drag sleigh at the bottom there, so you can move him around. Also holds him nice and steady. And then if you come in a bit closer, you've got the hinge there for your swinging kill target. But you can see all the aluminium bits, so head and neck, antlers, and his legs and his ass basically are all aluminium, just to save a bit of weight and cost as well. There he is. Pretty cool, I reckon. Well put together. And yeah, ton of fun to shoot. There we go. We've had a good field test of these targets from ARRAKIS targets. I reckon they're fantastic. They handled some pretty good punishment this morning from 100 yards with some big calibers, with some fast moving projectiles that are proper hard. So if you're shooting anything that's lead based, lead core, it's you're just going to have to replace the paint. It's as simple as that. Now, if you're going to shoot monolithics or full metal jackets at these targets, it is going to slowly erode the surface. But I honestly don't think that you'll ever wear a target out, even if you do shoot it with monolithic projectiles at high velocities at close range. So yeah, I've got the 12, 10 and the 4-inch laid out here. Obviously Sambo's down the paddock. He's a bit too big to drag around up into the shed here, but perfectly constructed, really well, you know, because I'm a boilermaker by trade, so I can clearly see the welds are top notch, and it's been manufactured with, you know, thought on how to put it together and the best way for it to be made and shipped in a flat pack too. So it came in a flat pack to me, and I had to put it together. So all self-explanatory where it all goes, yeah, and all the rest of it. So yeah, look, the material's hard enough to withstand thousands upon thousands of rounds. So the longevity of these targets is practically lifetime. I can't see anyone ever wearing these targets out. The hangers are well constructed, and you know they work. The offsets on them and the way that the hook system works makes the targets easy to attach and detach and move to your next spot, or pick them up and take them home. Like if you're shooting at a friend's property, you can take these hangers out with you. Potentially you could leave the steel picket in position, or you just pull the steel picket out and bring it all home. So yeah, and like if all you really want is one target, you can just buy the simple single hanger, and what size target you want, just order that online and away you go, and you'll be smacking steel at home before you know it. Now, I think these guys are going to cater for competition as well. So if someone's watching this that is involved in a shooting club where you run competitions, or maybe just want to have some steel targets for members to shoot at, these guys are going to have stuff available for you. And it's of good quality. It's Australian made up in Queensland. Righto, that's a wrap up on ARRAKIS targets. Now, if you're in the market for steel gongs or life-size steel targets, check out their link in the description. We'll go straight to their website. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.